But they did have one of the most successful administrations in our country.
That's the tricky part.
And I thought she would then say, I would build on the wins that we've had. And
that's co-host of The View and full-time race hustler Sunny Hostin, reluctantly admitting that she was asking softball questions to Kamala Harris during her infamous interview before the election. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like despite what Brian Stelter said, it's now confirmed that The View wasn't interested in asking Kamala Harris tough questions. In fact, they intentionally attempted to set her up for home runs, and she still struck out. Here's a refresher on the interview, just in case you forgot.
So Trump choosing not to do 60 Minutes, Harris is on there. That will certainly be an example of tough questioning of the vice president. She's also on The View tomorrow. I was talking to producers at The View last night. They have some sharp questions for her as well. And let's remember, sometimes it's these non-traditional formats that actually reveal a lot about candidates.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Well, Brian was right about one thing. It certainly was revealing, so much so that it damaged what little support she had with mainstream liberals. Speaking of which, here's Hostin talking about the interview and revealing how shocked she was that Harris wasn't politically savvy enough to answer such a basic question.
To remind people what the question was, it was, what would you have done differently?
I asked the vice president what she would do differently in a Biden and in Harris administration as opposed to a Biden administration.
And what if she, if anything, she wishes she could have done differently in the past 4 years, or what?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I followed up because I was surprised at the answer. Look, I think it wasn't so much about the question, but it was really more about the answer.
Not a thing comes to mind.
Not a thing comes to mind. And that's why I followed up with, is there anything that you would do differently? And the reason I followed up is because, that wasn't a gotcha question. That was a layup, really.
It was an important question, and I think one she should have expected.
Because that's what I thought. I actually thought it was a chance for her to explain to all the people who are saying, I want a change agent, for her to explain that, of course, she has a different lived experience from President Biden. But they did have one of the most successful administrations in our country.
That's the tricky part.
And I thought she would then say, I would build on the wins that we've had. And
man, I've got to say, you've done something dumb when even Sunny Hostin is surprised by how bad your answer was. I mean, it would be like if when the media asked Biden what his favorite flavor of ice cream was, instead of saying chocolate chip, he tells them that it's sniffing children and making them uncomfortable. Which of course is the truth, but at least shows that he's politically savvy enough to know how to answer a question. Now, Hostin's revelation comes right on the heels of a Harris campaign advisor admitting that they didn't go on Rogan, not because he refused to meet their insane demands, but because they were worried about blowback from progressives, which again probably contributed to their catastrophic loss. And is another indicator that mainstream political parties need to stop catering to these fringe radicals. But let me know what you think. Are we going to see more stories like this in the coming months? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!